And throughout the day, it just continues to go down. There are quite a few clear telltale signs, which you will understand once you learn about supply and demand and a few other things. The markets are heading up now. Okay, so this is the interesting part that I wanted to get to today. All right. So I was just reading up on a few articles, and it is made clear that the US are involved in this, and they are basically the foreign investors in almost all countries. Okay. So they have, I believe, pumped in some money so that the effect doesn't seem too great, it so that the markets don't seem like they're affected by anything that Russia does. It's basically a power play. Now, the thing is, I'll get into the technical analysis of this, and I think there's one more question. Just curious why a war between Ukraine and Russia would affect the Indian markets so drastically. Okay, so good question, Ram. The thing is, whatever happens all around the world has some spillover into other economies because we all have a relationship with each other. So we cannot just go off and live separately by ourselves. Even though India declares themselves as a neutral state, we rely on other countries like Russia for things like oil. So Russia is the second largest producer of crude oil. And once you have like a wavering kind of faith in the supply, such a large supply, it sends prices up. And if oil goes up, we'll see inflation because we need oil for a lot of things, like to make plastics, to make fertilizers, a lot of different things. So it'll increase inflation for us, which is not good, It's going to have a negative effect on our markets. And not just that, there's a lot of other factors as well. Like an all-out war will literally send everyone panicking. So the thing is, the markets are a lot about sentiment, okay? So the sentiment of everyone else is bad. It's going to affect the sentiment in India as well, and in turn affect the prices of the shares, okay? So the sentiment was bad. If anything bad happened, if Putin like overreacted or like blew up an American plane or anything bad, the prices could have tanked today. But thankfully, we are not in that scenario, and it seems like they were able to handle it under the table or behind the scenes, and foreign investors pumped in a little bit of money, and we are back at around the 16,500 range. How is the crypto market going to play with correlation to the stock market? So I'll get to the crypto market. I've opened some crypto charts over here. Bitcoin, Ethereum. I'm going to talk about Polkadot, Avalanche, Polygon as well, and the differences and what you should look out for. But I just wanted to finish up a little bit on the stock market before I get there. Yes, it is the inverse like goat. Yes, actually, so there's a saying, usually when people are feeling risky, they're feeling like happy with their society and everything, they go and invest in stocks because they believe like people are happy, people will spend, companies will do better, our performances and ratings will go up, and the stocks will rise. But if the news is bad, if people are unhappy, then they are basically going to take out their money from the stock market and put in something more stable like gold. Okay, so that's why that inverse thing keeps happening. Whenever the stock market is down, the gold is up, because what do they do? They sell from the stock market, put in gold, and then they sell gold and put it in the stock market. It's just basically a cycle. All right, so don't worry about that. We're going to be looking at this chart. Okay, so the cool thing about this chart is Nifty had been consolidating in this wide region, all right, as you can see in this triangle. So there's going to be a lot of patterns, inside patterns, and a lot of different things that I use here, but I'm not going to get into the technical side of these things. You can find them on my Instagram page. That's where I get into more detail. Right now, I'm going to give you a simplified version. Basically, when the price tends to accumulate like this, the next step or the next phase in the cycle is for there to be a breakout. Okay, and you can see that's exactly what's happened. The price is broken out of this accumulation zone and this pattern that it was forming, and it basically is hovering around this area. So as soon as the breakout happens, this is what you call the pullback, okay, or retest. Whenever the price retests, this is basically the key moment. So after this, if it comes back over to this side and breaks this, then we are going to look bullish. But if it does not, if it stays on this underside, we're definitely going to look bearish. Okay. So right now you can't really take a call, but it looked bearish, very, very bearish yesterday because of that massive drop down and continuous fall. So there were a lot of other indications pointing towards a bearish move. That's why a lot of stock traders would have predicted puts contracts for today, basically like the market falling. But this reversal over here really threw everyone off, and they didn't expect it. We were expecting a war, we were expecting chaos, but we got a controlled market. But that's how the market is nowadays. It's a little manipulated by foreign investors and these whales who have a lot of money, can pull the strings. But the thing is, what you guys have to remember is the market is always right. Okay, one cannot ever fight the market. It's like fighting the ocean. You just can't do it. It's just not possible. Okay, it's just not possible. You have to just go with the tide, go with the flow, and pick up profits wherever you can. And I have a lot of different strategies to do this. I mainly focus on having a long-term portfolio in which you build up like blue chip stocks, solid stocks like Tata Motors, Reliance, Bajaj Finance, banks, a lot of like solid stocks you build up for the future. And through some profits that you make, you try to do some day trading, swing trading, etc. to maximize profits and to maximize on days like this. So if a person knows how to basically short the market, which is sell first and then buy later. We were all taught how to long the market, right? Buy low and then sell high. But you can also short the market. You sell first by borrowing the stock, you go into a negative position, and then you buy the same amount by the end of the day. So basically you're saying, I know this stock is going to fall, and how much ever it falls by, I'm going to profit off of that. And to make things better, when you do intraday trading, Zerodha offers you a 6x leverage. Meaning, if you have 10K, you will actually be able to trade with 60K, essentially. And of course, people make mistakes, right? You could enter right over here, right before a green candle. But that's why you have to learn about stop loss strategy. You have to learn about risk to reward ratios, and where to keep your stop loss according to whatever move you're expecting. So what stocks are you looking at right now? How is the infra and banking play? So good question, Aditya. So the thing is, infra has been great ever since the budget has come out. The budget had been announced, right? So they announced a lot of money going into infrastructure. So that has been in focus, definitely. And especially ever since we made a recovery from Corona, everything is booming. Everyone wants to get their stuff built again. People are using buildings. So infrastructure is always great. Banking, we'll check out Bank Nifty in a bit, okay? But before that, since you asked me a good question, I want to tell you which sector I was focusing on at the moment. So right now, I am looking at the electric vehicle sector. And that's because everything is pointing towards an electric future, right? And what's the number one thing that people love? They love transport. And so stocks like Tata Motors, Mahindra Electric, they're really going to do well, because I feel that all cars are going to be replaced by electric cars in the future. A lot of countries are already banning petroleum engines. And so it's just a matter of time, and eventually I envision a future where we just get into like one of our Tesla-like cars. There's a Jarvis waiting inside the car, like an AI telling us, like asking us where we want to go. And it automatically takes us there, no more crashes, accidents, no more learning the map. You're like inside watching a movie, chilling with your friends, and the car just takes you places. I imagine that in the distant future, and that's only possible through electric vehicles, a completely electric and tech kind of car, So that's what I'm expecting, and I'll be looking out for Tata Motors and Mahindra Electric for sure. And one more, I think, yeah, Ashok Leyland Hyundai as well. All right. So apart from that, let's look at banking. Whenever money grows, banks grow as well. It's just a common fact. So so I'm going to give you a key differentiation right now between the two major indexes. Okay. So we were looking at Nifty, right? The top 50 companies of India. There's also Bank Nifty. So you can trade on Nifty or Bank Nifty, but people prefer to trade on Bank Nifty because it's like all the companies are in unison, right? So in Nifty 50, the different companies could be of different sectors, like pharmaceuticals, banking, then tech, then fertilizers, chemicals, like loads of different sectors, right? And not everyone can agree on the same things. Like maybe different ones will have different views or news that comes out, which is like good or bad for its respective sector. So to get Nifty, all of the companies of Nifty in one direction, either positive or negative, and for it to just face one way is difficult when there's so many different heads inside, types of heads. But in Bank Nifty, all the things that it concerns is just banks, just related to finance, right? So it's easier to get all the heads in one order or in one direction. So that's why people like to prefer to trade on Bank Nifty. Apart from this, right, so you can see it's almost very similar to Nifty. So Bank Nifty basically has the same kind of drop as soon as the 9 a.m. news comes in. So by 9:15, people have already piled up their sell orders. And 9:15 charts open, it signals a very bullish sort of candle. Okay, so bearish candle. So you'll learn about the different types of candlesticks and the patterns and everything like supply and demand, price action. There's quite a lot when it comes into technical analysis, and you have to go into fundamental analysis as well as indicators and quite a lot of things. So I'll try to summarize it for you. Anyways, like in a simple way. So it just kept going down and then it reversed today. So nothing here could have actually told you that it was going to reverse today. So whoever thought it was going to continue to go down, there's nothing you could have done to predict a reversal like this. It's just a tough thing, you know. But there was one thing that I had noticed. There was one thing. Yeah, so good question, Saurabh. So my answer is going to be I'm going to wait for this break. So like I said, it had a breakout on this level, right? So I'm just going to draw that line for you. This was the level that it broke below. Okay. So now after this breakout, the price retested this level. It's back to this exact breakout level, except it hasn't broken it again. It hasn't broken it back again, and it hasn't come back down again. It's just hovering around this area. So this can clearly tell you like what happened, right? So after this massive sell-off yesterday, today it spikes for a little while and then it just stays still. So after this pump, people are just confused, like what just happened? Like, is it actually the right move? Are we going in a reversal or are we coming back down? No one knows. And tomorrow it will tell us. So if it's below this line, we're expecting it to keep going down. If it's above this line, we're expecting a reversal. And reversal till where? Obviously, this becomes the first level. And then after that, we look at this. It has to break this as well. So if it breaks these two lines, then great. Otherwise, we're looking at more downside. So it just depends, you know, the main thing is to react to the market, not predict. We aren't like, you know, astrologers with crystal balls. We just look and we react and we don't get emotional. That's the main thing. Okay. So, what stocks am I looking to buy? So like I said, I want to develop my long-term portfolio and I feel electric vehicles is great for that. And so I'll be looking at electric vehicles, definitely banks as well. Banks is always a given. You have to go for the banks, obviously. What else? So, okay, let's take a look at Bitcoin as well, right? So what I've noticed about the cryptocurrency markets, guys, is that there are a lot of big players that dictate the movement in cryptocurrency, the cryptocurrency markets, and they all follow the lead of Bitcoin. So whatever happens to Bitcoin is what tends to happen to the other coins in the respective percentage change of market cap. So if Bitcoin is massive, you can't expect it to move like how the smaller coins move, right? So you have to take that into account. But yeah, so whatever Bitcoin does, it basically leads the way for the other coins. So let's check out Bitcoin, right? So yesterday we could see a mad sell-off, just like what we saw on stocks, on the stock market, right? So exactly 24th it starts. You can see it's already starting to dip before 24th. And these lines that I have plotted over here, the moving average lines, these are actually very interesting. I have these on my stock chart as well. If you guys want, I'll tell you about the moving average lines, okay? A moving average line is basically depicting the average of the closing prices of 20 days and 50 days. So the blue line is for 20 days and the red line is for 50 days. So for the last 50 days, whatever price it had closed on, we are averaging that. And these two work as like variable support and resistances. So if the price is like like above it, then this acts as like a support, and so if it breaks, you can expect it to fall. If it's crossing back over, it's acting like a resistance. Basically, it's variable. It's a variable moving resistance and support, and that's exactly what's happening here. So you can see over here on this crossover, as soon as it broke below the moving average points, it was a sign that this is weakening. And so this you can see is like the actually the best entrance for this short, right? And throughout this entire move, it stayed below these moving average lines. So that gives you a bit of a hint on how the price will move. And that's just one factor. Like I said, you have a lot of different factors that you have to look at: supply and demand, price action, volume, other indicators, then the candlesticks themselves and patterns. And then you make a call, whether it's looking bullish or looking bearish or looking neutral, right? And over here, you can see very clearly it falls because of the Ukraine crisis, and then it just slowly reverses and it breaks the first moving average, and it uses that as like a continuous support, and then it just breaks through the other two as well. So that reversal is what really sets this move into motion, because as soon as this happens, more buyers start to gain confidence in this move. Like, okay, now it's more possible. It's more possible. If it stayed below these moving averages, then the buyers would be like, okay, no, it's not possible. It's not looking strong. Let's continue to short. But with like a little bit of help, you see like a domino effect really take it away. Okay. And you can see the same thing happened here with the breakout. Like I said, like it broke out of this moving resistance in this case, and it retested that line. So breakout and retest always happens, and then it really went. So over here itself, here as well, right? So it broke out in a downwards way, and then it retested. Here as well, it broke out and then it retested. So whenever there's a breakout, there's always mostly a retest, unless it's been waiting to break out. So that's exactly what this chart is. It broke out of this accumulation, it broke out, and then it retested. So right now we're at the retest phase. It can continue to come down if it stays below this line, or if it crosses over, there's a good chance of reversal, right? So you have to wait and see. So that was the Bitcoin line. Bitcoin is looking really positive. So I'm seeing good bullish movement for Bitcoin. So this is like the main resistance line right now. I'm using the last two peaks exactly over here. So around 39,000. So if it crosses 39,000, we are a clear bullish go at least. So like 39 to 40 is like the, you can see that the price is consolidating here, right? So whenever the price consolidates, it's like an indecision point. So that's like the pivot point from where the price reacts, either breaks through or reverses from. So a pivot point is like very important to know, so that you can know that the price is going to do something from there, and you can take a call accordingly. Like as soon as the break happens, like yes, it's bullish with confirmation, or no, it's not bullish, it's bearish, and you go short. So as it breaks this, you can see the next consolidation point is only here, right? So that's around 43, 44, 44K. So if it breaks this 40K point, you can see it's going to come to 44K. Okay. Little bit of hiccup over here first, but yeah, at even intervals, you just know, you can just tell. So if it's like slowing down near a previous consolidation point, you know there could be a reversal. Maybe you can book partial profit. What do you do? Do you do intraday full time? Yeah, I do intraday. I make a lot of videos. I'm trying to educate everyone about, just the financial markets, personal finance, and everything. Try to do it efficiently. My Instagram is Alpha Trading Club, if you guys haven't checked that out. And yeah, I do personal coaching as well. I've taken like 10 batches. And yeah, I have like member reviews on my personal page, Insta page. Cool. So what else? Let's look at Ethereum. Yeah. So like I said, it almost follows the same thing as Bitcoin. So there was a slump because of the Ukraine crisis, and then same thing. It does like a U kind of formation. And we have U patterns. We know all these things. So for a classic U pattern, you see how far, where it starts from first of all, and then over here you block out this. So here's where the accumulation happens here. So you draw a triangle here. As soon as it breaks out of this area, you can see it's breaking out of here as well as this moving average line. So this is the point where to go long from. This is the confirmation that long has come in, this candle. And so you enter in long and you see a healthy retest. A lot of people sell here, be like, oh no, it's reversing. But that's wrong, right? That's wrong. Like after every breakout, there has to be a retest. Some people have to book profit. Some people have to force the price to go to a better position so that they can put in a lot of money and get a good call position, and so they can reap this. And as soon as this happens, you see three in a row, you're about done. You're done. You book some more profit. You book some more profit. See, okay, it's holding above these moving average lines. It's still good. If it stays above these moving average lines, great. There is good possibility, good bullish nature possibility for it to break this and go till where? The next consolidation point, right? This here. So that's about 2,950, and then the next one is at around 3,150. So these are the two upside points. And if you do the same thing, zoom out, do the same thing, you'll be able to find the downside points as well. But in the moment, it matters. It just matters on how it reacts according to the moving average lines, how the candlesticks look, if it's a healthy retest, or is it a breakout, or is it a reversal. You just have to look for these signs. Okay, cool. So, what else? I think, okay, let's do a little bit more, just a few more topics, I think. Let's go for, what about, okay, wait, yeah, so do you buy NFT and do you think it's just a hype? Good question, my man. I'm gonna just, yeah, 1 second. Okay, so about NFTs, right? So this is a very interesting question that you brought up. I'm very glad you brought this up. First of all, I want to preface this by saying I'm a big believer in the blockchain network. Okay, I really love the blockchain network, and I love the underlying technology of like decentralized hardware, right? Me using someone else's GPU who's sitting somewhere else, paying them for their time. Basically, everything is on a ledger. Everything can be traced by everyone. Full transparency is great. It's great. Decentralized is great. So no one can have control. If it's something is centralized, it's like someone has control over it for everyone else. But that's not good. Everyone should have control, or not, right? So it's like rules for everyone. It applies to everyone. So that's the great part. Now, there's a lot of things that they can be applied to, and NFT is one of them. NFT is basically a non-fungible token. What stocks are you long on right now on the blue chips? Just give me a second, Vijay. I'll just elaborate on NFTs and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so the thing about NFT, the non-fungible token, is that this is a way for the smart contract that you own something, your non-fungible token, that let's say I own a piece of art, and it basically gets mined onto the Ethereum network if you buy it using Ethereum. So on the Ethereum blockchain, your contract will live on forever. Okay, and that means that you have proof that it is specifically yours, and no one else does. And you are the sole proprietor, and you can issue copyright. Okay, so now whatever these arts are, it's yours, whatever you've bought, and it's there for everyone to see on the Ethereum network. So in the future, let's say you become a Bitcoin or Ethereum millionaire, and you have this amazing house in your virtual reality headset, or in the virtual world, in the meta world, and you want to show off your art in your house. You can do so, and you can prove that it's yours by showing your NFT thing, and it'll just look seamless. You'll be walking around in your virtual home, and you'll see this amazing art of like Pokemon or like something, and it's like hanging or hovering or projecting in your room, and it's only yours, and only you can have it. That's basically what NFTs are for the art world, like what that space is. But the thing is, right now, people are able to sell, people are able to like draw some dog shit on like a napkin and just sell that for like a lot of Ethereum just because it's by some famous person. And people are buying that because they think that will have resale value. And so it's not certain, right? You're not sure that it will have resale value. Like right now it's the hype. So yeah, sure, a lot of people want it, but you can't be certain. And so I would say a lot of it is a bubble. And only the real good projects, like Bored Ape, Mutant Ape, stuff like that, like the cool, innovative stuff that everyone's into, that could be like great for the future and like have a lot of value. You can see the prices like really shooting up. So it really depends. So I'm not really big of an NFT guy, but I love art. So I would be looking into like producing NFTs sometime in the future, especially for Alpha Trading Club. So let's see. Yeah, I would say mainly focus on blue chips, Vijay. So the thing is, the situation is kind of bleak in the world right now, okay? Inflation is like peaking towards its maximum in the US. It's the highest it's ever been in a very long time. India's inflation is also creeping because of external factors like the oil crisis from Russia and a lot of different things. The Chinese economy is slowing down, which will definitely have spillovers in the other world economies. So the only good thing that India has going for them is that our economic future is very, very sound. We have a boom coming in, and we have like so many people working in like startups and like a lot of money circulating in the middle class. And I just see a very nice growth coming in for the Indian market, and we are set to become the third largest financial market within this decade. And so it's great, it's great for us. And so the stocks that are really going to prevail are the blue chip stocks, because when all goes down and dirty, the fund managers and the hedge managers, they will definitely rely on blue chip stocks as they have done before, and that will definitely pull through. Not to say that you should not look into penny stocks which have a lot of potential, that will definitely come up as well. It's just important to do your research and, sell at times when it's required, and pick up some more when it's required. Like, no one could tell yesterday that dip was not going to extend into today. So yesterday, whoever bought, it was simply because of luck. If anything else would have happened, like if any other way, like if Putin reacted in any other way, anything could have happened. These are like real life politics and emotions, and anything could have happened. You can't just say like, yes, the US is going to subdue Russia and Putin's not going to do anything and everything's going to be fine, right? That's not even proven yet. That's not the situation yet. So until that happens, like only trade when you have a confirmation, only pick up when you have a confirmation, not before that. Don't speculate. That's the biggest thing. Okay. And one more thing I wanted to discuss was crypto, right? So I strongly believe in Ethereum. Ethereum is my, I don't know what to call it, like my hopes and dreams. Like I love Ethereum, okay? And I see it as like the future because, Bitcoin obviously is not efficient and just, really bad for the environment. And so I really love the Ethereum network, and I'll tell you guys how to choose cryptos going forward. So there is one main crypto that basically all the tech is surrounding. So on this Ethereum blockchain now, people are focusing on doing decentralized web apps, okay? So these decentralized web apps have to be interlinked with each other. Yeah, Solana, yeah, sure. I wasn't really going to mention Solana right now, but yeah, that's not really what I'm looking into. So I'm very bullish on Ethereum and the crypto that basically play off Ethereum, right? So I was like, so when you look at a crypto like Polkadot or Polygon, so how will you know what the difference is between these two? Both of these, Polygon and Polkadot, are made to like, build apps and increase like interoperability, and then basically like work on the blockchain, create blockchain DeFi apps and stuff. But the thing is, there's one key difference. Polkadot is basically pushing its own network that will rival Ethereum's, while Polygon is actually playing off the Ethereum network, and it's increasing interoperability within Ethereum. So what do I do? Do I look for a competitor, or do I go for the main guy and the people trying to help the main guy? So my option would be basically to use Polygon. I would go for Polygon over Polkadot because the key vision should be in mind. And for now, that is Ethereum coming out with Web3 and everything. Ethereum is the front runner. And until someone else takes over Ethereum's position, my front runner, my bet is going to be on Ethereum and everything that helps Ethereum, basically. What exchange do you use? I use Binance. So I really like Binance. They're great. Use Binance. Okay. Yeah, so that's Polygon and this thing. There's also Avalanche. Avalanche is pretty cool. It's also for building compatible decentralized apps, customized blockchains. Avalanche is pretty nice. Just look into these if you guys want. And yeah, that's about it from me, guys. Let's see. So right now, like I said, Nifty is at a very key point. Right after the breakout, it's at the retest right now, so it could reverse from here, it could bounce back. It's just based on how it reacts to this zone. Right now, just hold. Right now, just hold. And elections are coming up on the 15th as well. That's going to have an effect on the market. So I would say wait it out a little bit, but do see how the market reacts to this on Monday. So as I said, if it's on the flip side of the whichever side it's on, just favor that side and take a position accordingly, you know. And if you're doing like long-term investment, then don't stress about these dips. Just use dips as buying opportunities and pick up whenever there's a discount. It'll be great because India's future is very bright, and I am completely for it, bullish for India's future, and I feel our stock market is going to head towards the moon, definitely, within this decade, within the next 5 years. Okay, cool. That's about it. All right. Thanks, guys. I think that's it from me. Yeah. And please check out Alpha Trading Club on Instagram. That would be great. And reach out to me if you guys ever need anything, need any help or whatever. DM me.